Hey guys, I got my table saw down in my basement finally here, and this top on this thing is, oh, it's in bad shape. I had to let it sit out on my back porch, which is covered, but just the moisture got to it, and now it is completely rusted. And we're gonna try to fix this. I've done this mildly before, but not to this extent. This table saw has steel side wings, so at least I don't have to do those because they're painted steel. It would be nice. I wish I did have the cast iron ones. They're a lot nicer. But I definitely don't want to keep using it like this. Especially we got it down here in this dry basement now. It'll be able to sustain it and I'll keep it lubed up. So I feel bad having to subject it to this, but we are going to fix it. And I've done this mildly before, not quite to this level, but I want to show you my process for doing this. And you know, I don't actually have a set process, but I know some tricks here. So this wasn't in my original plan here, but I just thought of it. It might cut down on some time. Normally I would go to the second step, which would have been my first step, but we're gonna do this first. This stuff usually eats rust pretty good, so just gonna soak this down with this. Wish I had something to spread it around with. I really need to put this in a spray bottle. So, like I said, this wasn't in my plan originally, but this may help a little bit. Get some on there. See if I can brush it around a little bit maybe. Alright, that should be good. So, I'm gonna go do some stuff, just let that kind of sit there, and we'll see if it does anything. Like I said, this is an optional step. I was not planning on doing this, but I bet it helps a little bit. You can see, that stuff really starts to eat the rust off.
Alright guys, so my next step here, which you can get straight to this, we're going to actually sand this. Now some people have, they don't really like the idea of this, but let me tell you, it works just fine. And I do actually like this type of sander more than orbital for something like this, because the orbital will leave pretty big scratch marks and stuff in a circular pattern. But unfortunately, I got 80 grit and 100 grit sandpaper. I would like to use some higher grit stuff. I would like to be using 220 or higher grit. So if you can use something like 220 and you got that, then use it. I don't have any higher grit pads for this right now, so we're going with 80 and the 100 here. And I mean, if you don't like the idea of this, I mean, I'm going to show you that it's going to turn out pretty nice. But if you don't like the idea of this, then the alternative is use some type of rust remover. And people use like a Scotch-Brite pad. But the thing is, those Scotch-Brite pads are very abrasive too, and I mean, you're still scratching. You know, you're still scratching stuff with those. I mean, I don't know if you ever took a Scotch-Brite pad to chrome or any other metal. It scratches it and dulls it out. So I mean, this is just a fast way of doing it, and it's gonna work. Let me show you how awesome I can make this look.
See, that's clogged all the way up there. So here's this top after sanding on it a little bit, and you can see it really doesn't look that bad. And the reason I did say I like these types of sanders, just a vibrating kind, not an orbital, for this, because the orbital will definitely leave a lot of swirl marks and scratches and stuff. That at least I can just keep going back and forth on it, and it will just scratch in a straight line, and it doesn't look that bad. But the thing is, even if you use a rust remover in Scotch-Brite pads or whatever, it'll still scratch it like this, because those Scotch-Brite pads are very abrasive too, believe it or not. So it'd pretty much come out looking the same way. It would just take a lot more work to do that than just to hit it with a sander like that. So the next step we're gonna do here You know, I'm taking this. Some people might be happy with that because it's pretty usable that way. You know, you could lube it up and start using it like this. I got some wet, dry sandpaper here. Normally, I mean, ideally you'd want to go to like 400, 800, 1500, 2000, you know, something like that. But I got some 800. I even got some higher grit too, but I'm going to hit this with some 800. And this stuff always does work better with a little bit of water because it keeps it from clogging up from whatever, since it's so fine. But I'm going to hit this with a little, hit it with this. And then I'm going to show you my final step that'll make this thing really pop. So. Alright, so you can see kind of after that wet sanding here, it left a little bit of residue. Started quickly turning to rust, but that's no big deal. We got our secret weapon here. This is like a 9-inch polisher. It's pretty serious business for this. Probably not a required step, but this is what's really gonna do some cool stuff on this tabletop here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get at it with this and some rubbing compound. This is just a turtle wax rubbing compound, and this is should put a little bit of a shine on it. Should just really help put that finishing touch on it. So let me do it up. So after polishing it here, I'm just gonna wipe it down real quick, and then I'm gonna put a little lube on it. Most people use like a paraffin wax or something. I've used WD-40 in the past. Also helps it when you're cutting some boards, real light coating, something can slide better. I'm still got this PB blaster here, so it's still a lube. We'll still protect it for now. I'm just gonna put some of this on it. And miter slots, yeah, I'm gonna clean those out later. Probably scrape them out or something. I don't really use the miter slots a whole lot, so I'm not too worried about it. Just gonna give it a couple couple squirts. I'm gonna spread this around. And it's not perfect, but it's definitely better than it was. This thing's got some stains in it, has a couple deep scratches, and some couple little pits, like a low spot, a couple low spots. But it's still functional. You don't want to be sliding your wood across a rusted surface, so can't complain. It's better than that.